Have to imagine they built it up from the ground. How does it sound? Not easy cause it isn't. Could've praised them but it didn't. Got the ray bond, that's a winner. And they ran straight to the finish. You get to know them up close and personal. Wait, just give me a minute. Welcome to the front row. Can I get a drum roll? Intentional. We may be immigrants, but we are still intentional. We are dependable. It's just that set the bar, but still the best of all. We are intentional.
Welcome to the Intentional Immigrants podcast. Here we look at immigrants and their journeys to settle in a new, unfamiliar place. They, as pioneers, have embarked on uncharted territories so that you will be able to share in their trials, challenges, joys, and triumphs. We will learn from them so that you will not make the same mistakes. If you're a new immigrant, take hope. There is light at the end of your tunnel. You are not alone. Others have gone before you, and they have left a light for you to see. Today's guest will be Dr. Courtney Dookie. Dr. Dookie hails from the country of Jamaica. Here are some interesting facts about Jamaica. It is a former British colony. It gained its independence on August 6, 1962. Its population is approximately 2.7 million people. Official language, English. Location, an island in the Caribbean seas, south of Cuba. Its flag colors are black, green, and gold. Hi, Courtney. Welcome to the Intentional Immigrants podcast. We're so happy that you're able to join us this evening. Tell me a little about yourself. Describe for me your journey. Where do you reside and how long ago did you migrate?
My journey started, so just some more about me. I am Courtney Dookie, and I have been, living in Canada from 2007. I initially came to Canada in 2004 to work as a missionary student. And then 2007, I came here as a student. I studied in Ontario, Kitchener-Waterloo, Ontario at Wilfrid Laurier University. I spent probably 4 years there in two separate master's programs. So I was there from 2007 to 2009. And then I was back there 2010 to 12. So
okay, go ahead.
So I spent two separate times there doing two separate masters.
Okay.
Programs.
What were those master's programs?
The first one was a double master's in pastoral counseling and systematic theology. And the second one was a master's in psychotherapy and spiritual care.
Okay. Wow, that's impressive. Which of them did you go on to do your doctorate in?
The master's in psychotherapy and spiritual care.
Okay.
But courses came from both the masters in pastoral counseling in connection with the masters of psychotherapy. So both of those courses came together to qualify me into my doctoral program.
Okay, cool. That sounds interesting. How long did the doctoral program take? And was it at the same university?
No, my doctoral degree, I did it at California Southern University. And it took me, I would say, probably 2.5 years. It's a 4 years program, but I think I finished it in 2.5 years. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Very good. All right. So tell me, where did you migrate from?
Originally Jamaica. I am from Jamaica, and that's the
Whereabouts?
I was born in Clarendon. Then my parents moved to St. Catherine, and I spent most of my life in St. Catherine, a little town place called Old Harbor Bay. Spent most of my life there, and then portions of my life in Spanish Town, St. Catherine.
Okay, cool. That's good. All right. Have you had the chance to return home?
Since 2007, I have been back home twice.
Okay.
Twice. or 3 times.
And
I'm
one of
trying to
those times was to get married, right?
One of those times was to get married. So actually, I've returned home twice. One to get married, and the other was to my wife's sister's wedding. So
Okay.
those are the only 2 times I've been back home
Okay.
since 2007.
Okay. Okay. What do you miss most about Jamaica?
Food.
Okay. We'll get to that in a bit.
Miss the food. I miss the warmth, the temperature there. Yeah, those things that make Jamaica. I really do miss that. Place where you can get sunshine 24/7 all year round.
Okay.
You don't need to deal with snow and minus 30 and beyond.
40 and 50.
Yeah, so those are things I really do miss. Sometimes you're here in Canada and like, whew, what would I do with some sunshine right now? And yes. And
Do you usually think those thoughts in February by any chance? Or December?
those thoughts, they start from about now, which is like September, October, those thoughts start. Hopefully I convince myself that of different things by the time I get to December. So it's a mental preparation for the last whatever amount of years it's been. That mental preparation of knowing that I will have to look outside and sort of visualize Jamaica when I was growing up. Kind of make my own visualization and look at the snow, but put myself in Jamaica. So
okay.
Those are ways I seem to deal with.
Okay, that's your coping mechanism.
That's one of them. Yes, that's one of them.
Okay. All right. What place or activity would you recommend to somebody who is visiting Jamaica for the first time? A must see, must have, must experience.
For me, that would be, I'm gonna say Dunn's River Fall. I enjoy climbing that fall, taking pictures, and so that's one place that I would strongly recommend. Also, if you think about another one, for those who fish lovers, Little Ochi, go there, get some good fish. So yeah, so one, if I should choose between those two, I probably would say Dunn's River. I love water, and just to go there and climb and be a part of nature and be able to enjoy that, it gives us a true kind of a true picture of what Jamaica is all about. Enjoying that part of nature and connecting with nature in that context.
Okay. Tell us about the product or service that you offer.
I am a clinical psychologist, a provisional clinical psychologist. So I offer services, psychotherapy to children, couples, families, individuals, work with individuals who struggle with addictions, mood disorders, anxiety disorders, may it be depression, bipolar, schizophrenia, anxiety, eating disorders, substance use. So yes, I work with people doing psychological treatment with them. I also do psychological assessment for some individuals. So most of my work is centered on the population of either children, couples, and individuals dealing with the aforementioned areas.
Okay. Thank you. Where exactly do you offer this service?
I have my private practice in Fort McMurray, Alberta, the northern part of Canada. So yes, just to put that piece in there, that we live close to Santa, for those who North Pole.
We're almost at the North Pole, right?
Almost at the North Pole, so that's where we have chosen to build our private practice. Dookie is a psychological services in Fort McMurray.
Okay. All right. A question for you. Seeing that you're located in Fort Mac, are you bound to Fort Mac, or can persons who are interested in obtaining your services?
No, I am not bound to Fort Mac, but I am bound to Alberta. So if by my college requirement, I can work with anyone in the province of Alberta. If I'm going to work with anyone outside of Alberta, I have to connect with other colleges. So if it's Ontario, if it's BC, I have to connect with other colleges. So currently, I consider myself to be bound within the province of Alberta.
Of Alberta. Okay, that's wide enough.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in the psychotherapy business? You did mention, yeah.
From the moment I became a Christian, I took a keen interest in psychology, especially psychology and theology. Why? I was working
Yes.
when I came to the church. When I came to the church, I was doing a Seventh Adventist Christian. When I became a part of the church, I was working with people in the community and sharing the gospel, sharing Jesus with them. But I quickly recognized that people were dealing with some real issues of either past trauma, depression, anxiety. So from then, I was curious on how to find ways and means to help these individuals. So I would say I started my unofficial psychological work way back then, 2002, thereabouts, before I had formal training. So when I went off to college, I did theology, I did some courses in counseling, but my emphasis was in theology. At the end of my theological degree, I had this passion still to work with people. So I would get into conversations and even debates at times with conference presidents. These are leaders of different conferences of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I'll get into debates with them about our impact as it relates to psychological health of people who are coming in the church and people we are working with in the community. And oftentimes I will get a pushback, and that pushback only encourages me to push further to trying to figure this out. Because some leaders will oftentimes say to me, we don't need to focus on that. We can focus on this. And if we just give people the gospel, that will suffice for them. And then my argument was a part of the gospel is helping people to deal with the challenges they're going through. And so I would get a lot of pushback from that, and that motivates me, push me, and to wanting to learn more and to educate myself in ways in which I could contribute better and more effectively to individuals who are struggling with either depression, anxiety, addiction, or past trauma. So that's when I moved into my master's program. The pastoral counseling was a way to integrate both my theological background with the counseling in my first master's in pastoral counseling.
Okay, wow, that's interesting. How long has your business been established?
In Fort McMurray, it's been 2 years now in Fort McMurray. But however, it's probably coming out of infancy stage of our business is probably about 5 years now. But officially really established and really growing in Fort Mac is probably about 2 years now.
Okay, 2 years now. Okay. All right. Tell us about an experience that blew you away in terms of the impact of your product, of your service that you offer. Or I think you do have some products as well. You do have some books. What else do you have?
I've written three books, and well,
How many during COVID?
two during COVID. One
Two-
specifically looking at how to use biblical meditation for emotional regulation during COVID-19. That was an ebook. And then there was one about life transformation and mind transformation, again during the COVID-19. So just look at how we can use biblical meditation to bring about transformation in our lives and help us to accomplish our be our best, basically, in learning how to use biblical meditation to change the way how the brain structure and how the brain function in terms of achieving things like emotional intelligence, how to be a better husband or a better father, a better wife, how we can use biblical meditation to help to enhance the way how we be within our families or within the community. So that's the book I wrote during COVID-19. The first one was neuroplasticity, basically, again, using biblical meditation to bring about healing for individuals who struggle with psychological disorders. So those are the three books.
Okay. Wow, you've been busy. All right, so tell us about an experience now that blew you away in terms of the impact.
There's one that just came to mind. I remember I was working with an individual, and probably have seen this person for about 3 months or more, 3-4 months, every week, sometimes even twice a week. And this person was struggling with severe depression and severe gaming addiction. And I say severe gaming addiction, this person was spending probably close to $1,500 to $2,000 a week on just gaming. And
Oh.
plunge into this depression. And after about 4 months working with this person, it seems like there will be improvement sometimes, and then just a relapse. And we keep making improvements, but there'll be this relapse, and relapse are getting consistent until we decide, you know what, let's try something different. And one of the principles that's in my book, we call it compassion meditation, loving kindness and compassion meditation. So this person is not a Christian, so I took this from more of a secular standpoint, where I took that principle from my book and I said, let's do this. We're going to get some winter jackets. And what we're going to do, we're going to think about some people in the community. Either people living on the streets or people who probably they're at the Salvation Army, wherever these people are, but we're going to get some jackets. And I said to the individual, just want you to go out and spend some of the money you usually spend on the game and purchase some winter jackets. And I just want you to go out and sort of give these away. Think about doing something for someone else and reaching out and connecting with others who you don't know, but you're offering love and care and compassion to them in a practical way. And he said, Courtney, I will try that, because anything to get me out of this, I'll try it. And the person went out, bought some winter jackets, went out and gave them out. And 2 weeks after that appointment, I saw the person and they're like, I'm feeling better. I am talking to more people now. I am more connected. I am speaking to family members. I'm being more open with my family. And so what changes? Like, since I started to do what you asked me, to going out and connecting with people, there's been a change. And from that point, I saw that person twice after that.
Twice?
And the last twice from that moment, only after that. And from what I've heard, this person, there hasn't been a relapse, and this is now at least over a year there hasn't been a relapse, and the last time this person checked in with me, they were still doing well, still connecting, still helping, still reaching out. So this almost became a passion for them in reaching out and helping, but it also became the primary thing that helped this person to deal with their own challenges in connecting with others. So that was one thing, like, wow, just the power of helping someone else work as medicine in bringing healing to their lives. And for those who are listening, just the power of helping others can be medicine for our lives.
Wow. Wow. Whoa. That's such a beautiful story. When we reach out of ourselves and reach out to others, then
Yes.
we're helping ourselves as well as helping others.
We're bringing healing to ourselves, and we're not doing it to get the healing, and that's the power in this. We're not doing it because we want that healing. We're trying to get our mindset in a place. We're doing it because we just want to help someone else. And that's when it's really powerful, because now you get that internal movement of energy within ourselves that's going to bring healing.
Yeah, that's really nice. All right, let's move on to a difficulty. Tell me about a difficulty and the lessons you learned as a result of that experience.
Difficulty.
Too many to count?
Oh, I'm just thinking which direction to come from with the difficulty. One of the difficulties, let's go back to our business. When we were starting this business, especially in Fort Mac, one of the greatest challenge that I faced was, how do I give up a full-time job that I know for a fact it was a good job, and one that I could function and do well in. And I decided to make that decision to move from that job to starting full-time in my private practice. That took a lot of prayer and fasting, and it was a challenging moment for me, at least, because I view myself almost as a scientist. So as much as I'm a Christian and I strongly believe in faith and trust in God, making this move was one that I had some questions even within myself about, like, will it work? How will it work? Will it maintain itself? What will happen? What if different things changes within the Fort Mac community or things like that? So working through, it was challenging for me to come to that conclusion, to move into full-time private practice. But the moment I took that step forward and I said, I am going to do this, I felt a relief. I felt like a burden was lifted. And what I've learned from that is, if you're passionate about something, and if God is leading it in a particular direction, and within that moment, that can change as time goes on. But if you really can trust God in those moments and you believe in what you're doing, take the chance, take the step. And since then, I'm going to boost my confidence in some ways that, look, God has been good to you in the past and you're taking bold steps and things work out. Why stop now? Why stop taking those bold steps and trusting God? And doing that for my private practice, solidify that when I make those steps and I pray about it and make those bold steps, it will work out because God is in it. And so the challenge in moving into private practice, and the lessons learned, or the lesson learned in terms of taking those bold steps and trust in the process, that when you move, and if you're moving, things will start to happen.
Okay. How do you find How do you find being an immigrant and the cultural and the different aspects of this new environment that you're operating a business in? How do you find that, and how do you circumvent those or try get around those situations? Because I'm sure you would have met some obstacles.
From a cultural
That
perspective, within Fort Mac doing this practice, I haven't faced much of, I guess, a difficulty with it. I guess one of the reasons being, as a psychologist, we are trained to understand different cultures. So, for
okay.
example, I am trained on how if a person who is from an Asian background connect with me in my office, I am trained exactly how to curtail treatment for that person. If a person from the native community comes in to see me, I am trained specifically how to use that information or use my skills to speak to that person. So from that perspective of culture, we with our training, we're exposed to, at least in a general sense, what we need to do to deal with any cultural challenges. Other aspects of it, sometimes I guess where the challenge might comes in, is perception, or there are people who are maybe they themselves are passionate about something, and sometimes they will make comments that if you're not careful, you can easily take it to be offensive. And
Okay.
sometimes the way how I deal with that in my own practice is to have a conversation with the person about that. And this dialogue about cultural differences, I think it can take us a long way.
Mm-hmm.
One of the challenges we have oftentimes when it comes to cultural clashes is that we're not open to dialogue, to understand the other person seek to understand where I'm coming from. And in my practice, whenever I come across this, either in a man, a woman, a person of different ethnic origin, or even different areas, I tend to be bold about that conversation, be respectful and bold, and seek to have the conversation with them about it. And most times, we get to a place where, okay, that's how you see this, that's how I see this. And most times we get to a place of synergy where we kind of see the differences, but also understand how we can connect those different pieces. And also, it becomes an education for myself because I get to learn
Mm-hmm. That's
from them, and
important.
they get to learn from me, and we just basically we almost grow in that kind of a knowledge growth. One of my favorite psychologists, John Page, basically says that when we're stretched to a certain degree, when we're stretched, we are forced to learn, and as we learn, we develop cognitively. So within these contexts, sometimes we push ourselves and we learn more.
Yes, and learning is the key.
That's it.
All right. What's your personal philosophy or mantra?
It's There's a Bible verse that I used pretty frequently in my life. It's taken from Philippians chapter 1 and verse 6. And it's, "He who has begun a good work in you will bring it to completion." So I take that from both a spiritual and, I guess, lived experience perspective, meaning that anything that I'm doing, I've committed it to God, and He started something in me. Whatever He starts in me, He will finish it. So I just have to depend on Him to finish what He starts in me. So that's like the philosophy that I work with. That it's not me alone, but whatever I'm in, God is in it, and He's the one who's going to finish it. So all I need to do, either if it's my practice or my spiritual life, I just need to avail myself to Him, and He will do. So constantly hear me talk about that verse, that He who begun a good work in me will finish it.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. Tell us about a morning routine or ritual which has helped you well.
For my morning ritual, I find it very profound, or I love neuroscience. So let me start here. I love neuroscience. So I look at routines that's going to enhance my own brain function. And the way how I look at it is in the mornings, once I get up, a key thing is get my bed spread.
Or does that relate to neuroscience?
And I'll tell you, once I get my bed spread, and I go in and I get a shower, I brush my teeth, or I might do some exercise, and then get my shower, brush my teeth, and then I take my phone up. So what I've done there in my morning routine, I don't directly go to my phone, even though my phone is very important because a lot of things I do is from my phone. But one of the routines I've developed is to have that time by myself for worship, a little meditation. As I said, get my bed spread, my teeth brushed, and my shower. So one of my big morning routine is I want to limit within the first 30 minutes of waking up. I want to limit the amount of time I even touch my phone, or because I'm training my brain to give me more control. Oftentimes when if we touch our phone, the first things we do in the morning, write a program for our brains. So the brain, sometimes based on our routine, there's a place in the brain, we call it the basal ganglia, and it functions on what we call an if-then principle. If I do this, then this will happen. So because I want to write the correct program or the correct if-then code in my brain, I'll choose what I do in the morning so I can have a better then. So if I meditate, if I take care of some environmental stuff like spreading my bed and personal hygiene of shower, and if I do these things, then it will help me to be less reactive because I'm not touching my phone. It will help me to have my first victory in the morning, my first accomplishments in the morning. So I'm starting my morning in accomplishing something. And if I am accomplishing something in the morning, it means that my day, I am more likely to accomplish things because I'm starting off my day with some success stories of getting my personal hygiene done, my worship done, or taking care of my bed or different things. And I'm less reactive to external stimuli that my phone or other things might bring in.
Didn't know that bedspreading was linked to neuroscience. Thank you. Thank you for that. And I'm sure the listeners didn't realize the connection either.
The brain can change with simple things. As it's an if-then principle. If you do this, then this will happen. We set ourselves up the moment we open our eyes.
So that's either success or failure, eh?
I say failure. We set it up. At the moment our eyes open, we set our day up. And if we do that every day, we set our lives up.
For listeners listening in, and those who they want to go into their own business, they want to embark on something new, what word of encouragement or what word do you have for them?
Once they explore, or any individuals out there, if you have a passion for something, the first thing, look, can the passion you have, can it take care of your needs? Once you can come to that conclusion that your passion can take care of your needs, and you're going to do something that you love and enjoy and that can make you fulfill and bring holistic synergy to our lives, I would say go for it. Whatever you're doing, do your research, do your market research, find out the people you want to serve, what are their needs, and what's preventing them from reaching those needs, and then tell them what you have to offer and go ahead with what you have to offer, because we all have something to offer. We just have to get it out to people so they can be impacted by what each of us have to offer. So one of my big thing would be go for it. Don't allow any preconceived ideas to prevent you from accomplishing your goals. And when I say preconceived See, sometimes we look at what we don't have to get what we want. And if we keep looking at what we don't have, we will never get to what we want. I don't have the money to do this. I don't have the experience to do this. I don't have the resources to do this. If we keep looking at what we don't have, we will never move forward. Just move forward. And I can tell you this much: if you move forward with passion and clarity, the pieces will fall right into place. And I could talk, guess, all night about that moving forward when you don't have the resources, but just move.
Okay. Okay. Recommend a must-read book. What are you currently reading, or what have you read that have made an impact on your life and you'd like to share it with our listeners?
One of my favorite little book, it's a book called Man's Search for Meaning. It's written by an Austrian psychiatrist, Viktor Frankl. It's a book where he shared his experience going through the Holocaust and how mindset and how we think about the situations that we find ourselves in can, or the view we take of those situations can determine the content and the quality of the life we live. So that book, I probably every year I probably read that book at least twice, especially the first 50% of the book, at least twice every year, because constant reminder that my life don't need to be dictated by circumstances, but by the mindset I take in those circumstances. And that's one of my must read and recommendations to people. And I enjoy reading my own book. Sometimes I'm reading it and I'm like, wow, I think there's some good stuff I put in this book. And every time I go back over my own material, I find to be helpful. So those are two books. My book came out a couple of years ago, just republished it. I find that to be beneficial. And the Viktor Frankl book. Another book I find to be very useful is Mind, Character, and Personality, written by Ellen White. Another profound book on ways of how we can live that fulfilled life in looking at the things that are recommended in that book.
Okay. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Courtney. How can my listeners make contact with you? What are the many ways? And can you remind us of the names of your books, the ones that you currently have out? And I do think you have a YouTube channel as well. Am I correct?
Yes, we have a YouTube channel, and there's a YouTube channel, Dr. Courtney Dookie, and there is also Facebook group, Healing Power of Biblical Meditation. And then you have my Facebook page, which is Dr. Courtney Dookie. I have a website, which is www.drcourtneydookie.ca. So that's the website. And also people can reach me via email, which is drcourtneydookie@gmail.com. The books.
Courtney's Courtney. And Dookie DOOKIE.ca.
That's
okay.
it.
You were saying?
I was saying you asked for the books. One of them, the one that is coming out in another, I guess I would say a week or so. I'm just delaying it a little bit here. It's called Mind Restoration and Life Transformation: The Spiritual and Healing Benefits of Biblical Meditation. And the other one is Neuroplasticity: Healing the Brain from Psychological Disorders Through Biblical Meditation. And then the ebook, which is 7 biblical principles for regulating emotional challenges during COVID-19.
Oh, it's specific to COVID-19.
That ebook is specific for COVID-19.
Repeat the name of that. 7 biblical principles.
Yeah, 7 biblical principles for psychological disorders or psychological challenges during COVID-19. So we look at 7 brain areas, and how to use biblical meditation to regulate those 7 brain areas during COVID-19.
Okay. Courtney, it was beautiful having you. I really enjoyed our little chat, and I want to wish you all the very best. Thank you very much for sharing your time, experience, and knowledge with us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you to the following persons and websites who made this podcast possible. Dr. Courtney Dookie of Dookie Psychotherapy. Xavier Anderson for providing music. Facts about Jamaica were found on www.countryfacts.com. Information on the flag was found on www.flagsworld.org. Until next time, I am your host, Yolanda Jack, reminding you, he who watches the wind will not sow. He who watches the clouds will not reap. Ecclesiastes 11 verse 4. You were born for greatness. Step out into your greatness so that mankind can benefit from you being here. So long, until next time.
Intentional, we may be immigrants, but we are still intentional. We are dependable, it's just that set the bar, but still the best of all, we are intentional.